Hi, Heather.
Hey Mike, how are you?
Good in yourself?
Doing good, thank you. So, what is new with you? I saw on Twitter that you climbed a mountain.
Yeah, well, I climbed them a fair bit, but on Monday I climbed Holiday Peak, which was quite a challenging one. That one necessitated a lot of upper body strength because there were a lot of chimneys to ascend and very steep rocks, and that was of the 39 peaks that I've done so far with the 52 Peak Club. I would say this one was the most physically demanding.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
proud of
How long
myself.
did it?
It only took about 5 hours, but it was a very challenging 5 hours. And some of them take much longer, but they are just like Mount Charleston. That takes me 9 hours,
Wow.
but you're just walking on a trail the whole time. So I find that one extremely safe. Whereas Holiday Peak, you absolutely need a guide to get there because it's not a trail at all. It's a route that simply must be memorized and or following a track. So
Okay.
yeah, but still having fun with the rock climbing.
Sounds cool. Right on. And what is the longest it's ever taken you to hike a mountain? How many days?
Well, let's see. Mount Rainier took 2 days. Mount Whitney took three. Yeah, I'm going to go with Mount Whitney at 3 days.
Nice. Very nice. So, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Michael, please put it in the chat and we will get to it in the order that it is received. I also heard that we have trivia today. What's the
Yes,
trivia about?
we are going to be celebrating Groundhog Day with Groundhog Day trivia.
Oh my God, is today Groundhog Day? I
No,
hope I didn't forget it.
no, it's not today, but one of my
Okay.
questions is the date of Groundhog Day. In fact, I will make that
Ooh.
the first question is on what date exactly do we celebrate Groundhog Day? So,
Oh, I'm really excited. So, if you guys know the answer, put that in the chat and we will get to it as soon as we do a question. Do you want to start off with a viewer question or a forum question?
so the forum didn't have any questions this time, so we are going to take all the questions from the peanut gallery.
Awesome. So, if you guys are watching, you have a question, put it in the chat and we will get to it as best we can. And our first question comes from Saab. I probably totally mispronounced it. What are your best casinos to play poker in Las Vegas, and how much low and high level are the SB and BB? Small
Do you
blind
know
and
what
big
it means
blind.
by SB and BB?
Small blind and
Oh,
big
small
blind.
blinds, big blinds.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the short answer to this is I don't know. Don't, I hardly ever play poker in casinos. Um, I think that the rakes are pretty consistent from place to place. Some places might be a little bit higher than others. And it's easy to say that the fancier casino, the higher the blinds are likely to be. So, yeah, sorry, I'm not very helpful on that one.
You're
So, did
good.
anybody get the date of Groundhog Day?
Oh, yes, we did get an answer. Someone did get it. The person who answered that was Derek. That
Derek
would be
Chant, good job. You are indeed right. Groundhog Day is always on February 2nd. So
nice.
let's go. So you get a point for that. So, question number two is which country do we get Groundhog Day from?
So if you know the answer, put it in the chat and we will see who the winner is after this next question, which is from PJ Strong. In your book, Gambling 102, you thanked Mustane's ally. Do you still keep in contact with her?
Oh, that's Mustang Sally.
Oh,
Yes.
Mustang Sally. Sorry. I
Yeah.
even mispronounced everything.
Yeah, she was a great member of my forum who contributed a lot of great information. And no, I haven't communicated with her since she left the forum. Sally, if you, the unlikely chance you're listening to this, please come back. We miss you a lot. You are one of my favorite posters. But some of the, yes, she helped me so much that she was worthy of getting thanked in my book.
That's really awesome. Okay, so let's see if anyone has the answer to our trivia. And would that be Canada?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, we do not
Any
get
other
that.
guesses?
Let's see.
Just
Canada. Canada. Yep.
No, we get the custom of Groundhog Day from Germany. Wunderbar. So that leads to my next question is what did they call Groundhog Day in Germany, and what does that name get translated to in English? So a two-part question.
Large rodent day?
Nope.
Ah, darn. Okay. So if you guys know the answer, put it in the chat. And our next question comes from Oregon Guy. Assuming good pay tables, not minding volatility, any preference for traditional video poker over variants such as ultimate, hot roll, etc. I wonder whether that double bet for variant is fair.
Well, to answer the last part first, I really believe that the double or nothing feature is fair. It would be in violation of Nevada regulations for it not to be. And knowing a lot of professional gamblers who play a lot of video poker, it seems like you hear them just talking about straight up video poker more than all the variants. Of course, you do hear them mentioning both of them. Like you do hear a lot of chatter about Ultimate X, which can be an advantage play. But I think that if you put a gun to a good, real professional gambler in video poker and said, I'm going to limit you to only straight up video poker with no bonuses and no features, or the alternative, or only the variants, I think that they would pick just straight up video poker. That would be my guess. So, and that's also my opinion, is when I was more active with video poker, I generally found that the best pay tables were on just the classic video poker games. So that is my answer to that one.
Very cool. Okay, so let us see if we have any answers to the trivia. Let's see here. And it is Germany. Groundhog Day was originally Candlemas, meaning a church feast.
Okay, that is absolutely the correct answer for the German name. And in fact, let me go over to translate.google.com and put in Candlemas and pick German. And that is getting translated to Candlemas.
Candlemas.
Let me put a space in there. It's not picking up anything.
Oh, really?
So, okay, what I thought the answer was that it translated to Badger Day, because in Germany they used a badger instead of a Groundhog Day for exactly the same purpose. I'm not saying you're wrong, but my interpretation of the Wikipedia page on Groundhog Day is that it means Badger Day. I wish maybe if anyone in the peanut gallery speaks German, you can help straighten this out, and maybe we'll come back to that issue.
So what is the next question?
So the next question about Groundhog Day is, and this is kind of an easy one, is what is the name of the Groundhog Day that we use here in the United States?
So if you guys know the answer, put that in the chat. And let's see what our next question is. Really appreciate you guys saying hi. Our next question comes from Waylon's Waycrafts. How do you feel about the D'Alembert style of betting in craps with more than one bet?
The D'Alembert. I have a whole video and a whole page on the D'Alembert betting system, which you can refer to for an explanation of how it works. I'm not going to. Anyone who knows me well knows that I'm not big on betting systems. They do not. Not only do they not overcome the house advantage, they don't even dent it. I'm not saying not to use one either. If it makes playing more fun for you, then go ahead. Just don't delude yourself or deceive yourself that they are changing the odds in any way. So I have no particular opinion about using that in craps. I just want to make those general comments about betting systems as my reply.
Very, very cool.
Thanks.
So let us see if we have any answers to the trivia.
I see that we do.
Is it Phil?
Yes, Phil is his name, but his full name is Punxsutawney Phil, which I see
Ooh.
Derek Kant and the Mystical Child Official YouTube also got. So congratulations, guys. Punxsutawney Phil. And I can never remember how to spell Punxsutawney, by the way. All right. Here's another two-parter. What happens if Punxsutawney sees his shadow, and what happens if he doesn't?
Okay, so if you guys know the answer, put that in the chat. And our next question is actually for me, so I appreciate it, Lil Joe. I saw a new table game on Vegas Aces a couple days ago. Any further explanation on that new table game that you may be excited about? So we just uploaded a new video on Vegas Aces. It is Antigo, and Antigo is a mix between Baccarat and a co-op game where players play together to beat the dealer. So it's a really, really interesting game. Go check out the video if you guys get a chance, vegas-aces.com or Vegas Aces, the YouTube channel.
Can that game be played anywhere for real money?
He is currently looking for a field trial.
Okay, let me know if he gets one and I will analyze the game.
Awesome, will do. So the answers that people are coming up with, if they see their shadow, then there are 6 more weeks of winter.
And if he doesn't?
No shadow is early spring.
That is absolutely right.
Ooh, yay.
Okay, now here's a question that doesn't have maybe a simple answer, but when they show this on TV, they show some guy in a tuxedo and a great big hat just lifting Punxsutawney Phil up in the air, and then he takes him down. And it's like the groundhog is going, well, you woke me up for this, and he doesn't seem to take note if he sees his shadow or not. Like he doesn't seem to care. So how do they go from this ceremony to getting a prediction whether he saw his shadow or not? Like who or how do they interpret his actions to get an official prediction?
Okay, so if you guys know, put that in the chat. And our next question comes from Humanly Man. I just butcher all words. I am thinking about asking for casinos to hire me as an advisor. I am now an AP. How would you go about doing this, since revealing that I'm an AP would get me banned if they reject my offer? That's a pretty good question.
Well, yeah, so you're thinking about switching to the dark side, as they say. Usually, how shall I put this? I think with a lot of people, they don't all of a sudden switch from the dark side. I mean, as they would put it, what's the alternative to the dark side? Like the good side? What do they call
the mirror universe?
Well, in the Star Wars universe, what do they call the good guys?
The Jedi, the Force.
Okay.
Use
All
the
right.
force,
So,
Luke.
but not everyone who is in the Star Wars movies who is on the good side, shall we say, has the Force.
Mm.
But I don't want to go too far down that. Um, okay, but I think the way it happens with a lot of people is they play both sides, and with some casinos, like let's say that they play a promotion and win a lot of money from it, and the casino realizes their mistake and cancels it early, they may quietly go to the casino manager and say, I played this promotion. Here is why it was such a bad promotion, and everybody won so much money from it. And they will show all their math. And then they will say, if you want to hire me to review your next promotion, here's my information. Now they do take a chance in revealing their identity, but it might be that the casino knows it anyway, because maybe a player's card was required to do this play. But it's basically a chance that each player is going to have to take on their own. But I tend to think if the casino manager says no, it's not like he's going to pass out that name to every casino in the United States. Casinos are competitive with each other, and I don't think that there's as much information sharing as advantage players suspect. Now, yes, there are organizations like the Oregon Surveillance Network, if I have the name right, that do keep a database of advantage players on a national level. So, but I don't think that, a little casino is going to just tell other casinos by word of mouth, watch out for this guy. So, yeah. So, like I say, my advice is going to be that if you're going to do that, just kind of dabble into that slowly and play both sides.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's see if we have any answers to your trivia. It was originally from a Pennsylvania Dutch superstition. And is that the answer? Because we
Okay.
also have alliance.
Okay, I don't see any answers, so I'm just going to, and you can read all this on the Wikipedia page on Groundhog Day if you wish, and there's another page on Punxsutawney Phil. But actually, there's an organization called the Inner Circle, and I hope that I'm not revealing any big secrets, but they decide in advance what his prediction is going to be. And they say that Punxsutawney tells them in Groundhog E's what his prediction was. But, of course, they really decided in advance. And the whole thing with holding up the groundhog is for entertainment only.
It's a trap.
It's all fake. Sorry.
Oh, you just ruined my childhood.
And there is no Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny either, by the way.
Spoilers! Get your kids out of the room.
I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm just here to tell you the truth, like it or not.
I hope there's no parents out there that are like, oh my God, I'm going to have to get like a talk tonight with my kids.
Somehow I don't think many kids are watching this.
Okay.
All right. Give me another gambling question.
Well, what is our next trivia question for the crew?
Oh, sorry. What was the first year that the groundhog used in the ceremony was actually given a name?
Okay, so if you guys know, put that in the chat. And then our next question comes from Gillamy. Do toke bets qualify for envy bonus payouts? When I worked as a dealer, I had a $1 toke bet and someone got a Super 7 bonus on Spanish 21. Nobody knew if it was eligible for the $50 bonus.
Yeah, I basically don't know.
Okay, so basically, the toke bets do not qualify for envy bonuses, and depending on the game you are dealing, you have a max toke bet aggregate. So if they put up, let's say, a $25 chip or toke out there, and you get like a royal flush, you have an aggregate amount that you get paid. So you can only get paid up to a certain amount, and the casino refuses to give you any more for the toke bet.
Okay, but are you saying that toke bets in general do not qualify for any envy bonus?
No, not for an envy bonus, because an envy bonus is just for the bet itself. It's not for the toke. The toke is something completely separate. So if you had $4, let's say if you're playing pie gout poker and you had $4 on the fortune bonus and then a dollar toke, you would not have the $5 envy bonus.
Oh, okay. Now I see what your point is. Okay, well, for those who don't know, Heather was a dealer, so I would trust her answer on that completely.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see if we have an answer to the trivia question. Is it 1887?
I'm afraid not, and that's the only answer I see. So I'll just tell you the correct answer is 1961.
Oh, that's a lot sooner than I thought it was going to be.
So, but 1887 is the answer to my next question, which is what was the first year a prediction was recorded? So we'll give Mystical Child credit for the right answer, but to the wrong question. Okay. And that's it. Not too much to say about Groundhog Day, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's all? That's the whole trivia thing for Groundhog Day?
Like I said, not too much to say about it.
Okay, I got a trivia question for Groundhog Day.
Okay.
What animal did they originally use? It wasn't a groundhog.
Well, I think I talked about that earlier, but maybe.
Okay.
But
if you guys know the answer.
Okay, well, let's hear let's see if someone responds to what Heather's question is. But I believe I said earlier that they originally used a badger in Germany. So I'm going to stick with that.
Oh, maybe that's why that's on the tip of my mind.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So no trivia unless we want to do trivia about Shackleford. We could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys
maybe I will do a topic in the future about trivia about me.
Oh, I was just going to do one right now. Like, what's
ahead.
his favorite? Okay, if you guys know what his favorite food is, put it in the chat, and we will find out if you were right or not.
I'm not even sure. Like, I have a favorite food.
You don't have a favorite? Okay.
I mean, much like I don't have a favorite color. I'd like a variety of things.
Favorite TV show?
Yeah, I don't have a favorite TV show either. I mean, I could certainly list a bunch that I like, but I'm not big on like saying this is my favorite this is my favorite that.
Okay, I got it.
I don't need to rank
it.
things like that.
For the answer to the trivia question, put down the number you think Mike is thinking of.
I got one here.
Okay. So as we were waiting for you guys to answer that trivia question, we have another question from David. If you had a 10-7 double bonus video poker with no point, no free play versus a 10-7 double bonus video poker with free play and points, how could you figure out which one would be better?
Well, you said 10-7 double bonus both times. So it seems like the pay table is exactly the same. So of course I would prefer the one where I get points and free play. There must be not something I didn't understand about the question because the answer seems obvious.
Oh, well, in that case, since it was an easy answer, let's do another one. In your online casino games, play for fun, one particular game is called War Games. How can I play that particular version for real money? I checked other sites, but it's not the same.
Are you sure you're not just referring to Casino War? Um, I tend to think that that's what you mean. And yes, I do have a demo game of Casino War on my website. At least I'm pretty sure I do. But that game has gone the way of the dodo bird. I haven't seen that game for years. So you can play that for real money online at quite a few places because the online casinos are 5 to 10 years behind the times. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen that in a land casino in quite a while.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's see what people are saying in the chat for the answer. Is it 8?
Nope.
Are you thinking of 8? Are you thinking of 6?
Nope.
No. And people are saying for your favorite food, it'd be pie. I like that.
That was actually the answer to the right number, I was thinking.
So we got another one where we got the right answer, but the wrong question.
Right. What are the odds? And E would have been my second choice. So that TK, you know me well. Thank you very much.
Nice.
And I saw somebody ask about my favorite handheld device. I'll let you guys guess at that one, but that one has a pretty obvious answer.
Okay, so that is our next trivia question. If you know Michael Shackleford's favorite handheld device, put it in the chat, and we will see if you guys are right. Also, for the favorite food, we also got the responses tofu, peas, and chow mein while playing pai gow.
I like that one. Yeah, those three, I would definitely take the chow mein playing pai gow. I don't really like peas and tofu. Peas I like if it's like part of a stew or something, but I really don't like just straight peas.
Okay.
Really
How about
hate it.
in shepherd's pie?
They would be fine in a shepherd's pie.
Okay. Okay. You ready for your next question?
Yes.
This comes from Paul. And Paul says, for states that have these pull tab slots, are they prone to abuse? It seems like it's easy for insiders to know how many jackpots are left in a particular machine.
That's a good question. Nevada is not a pull tab state, but let me explain the question for those who don't understand it. So, in some states like Alaska, they have a legal form of gambling called pull tabs. And these are kind of like lottery tickets, but instead of being numbers based, they have it's still like on a card, like about this big, but you pull these tabs to show what you won or if you won anything at all. And they are printed in batches of like 5,000, and the state will indicate in writing how many of each prize is in a batch. And the places where you would buy pull tabs have great big jars. And a jar does not necessarily have a full batch in it, probably has only part of a batch. And when the jar gets kind of low, they reach in there and put more in it. And but there's also electronic versions of pull tab games, and with these, I think they tell the player, hey, this I don't know much. I'm starting to reach the limits of my knowledge on this. But let's say, for example, there was a pull tab game in, let's say, a bar, and the bartender knew that a batch was near the end and not many jackpots had, and let's say the biggest jackpot was still in there. That might be formed to an abuse, as he might tell his friends this information. But I don't really know enough about it to give a good answer. So yeah, the short answer is I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's see what your favorite handheld device is. Is it is it an iPhone?
No, definitely
I love this next answer. Is it a joystick?
not. uh, no,
I love that. That's so funny.
I'll just say no to that one.
Nintendo Switch.
Nope, don't even have one. My kids do though.
Your cell phone?
I really don't like cell phones, to be honest with you. I kind of think that the cell phone kind of owns me. Um, so yeah, I don't spend a great deal of time on with them.
Okay.
In fact, people find it annoying that I often forget to take a cell phone with me when I go out and I can't communicate with them.
They're all saying they're texting you, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a phone.
Okay.
I don't know if this is a handheld device. Is Vor Red a handheld device?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. In that case, how about a Rubik's Cube?
Yay! It's
Ooh.
the good old Rubik's Cube. I had one right
Woo!
here within reach. Yes, so yeah, I love the Rubik's Cube, including all cubing puzzles. So I'm often just, when I'm watching TV and it's boring, I'll reach for my Rubik's Cube and solve it a few times.
Nice. Good job. We have another one. So if you guys know what Shackleford's favorite roulette betting progressive system is that right? I don't know if
I'm
that's a
sure that's just
question
a
or
joke. There's, like I said earlier, I'm not big on betting systems. So my favorite betting system is the flat bet.
okay, that was easy.
So give me another one.
Okay.
And give me another gambling question too.
Okay. So if you guys have a trivia question for Shackleford, put it in the chat and we will get to it. My trivia question for you would be, what is your favorite, or tell us what Shackleford's favorite time of year is. Springtime, summertime, fall, winter. Put it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So our next gambling question comes from a name that I cannot pronounce. I got a free cruise offer from a Las Vegas casino, and I discovered that it will cost $700 each for me and my wife in taxes and fees. My reluctance is less with the fees and more with the tightness of slots. How bad are they?
Yes, the cruise machine slots are extremely tight. And how do I know this? It's because if you look at the video Keno or video poker, they are set to extremely stingy pay tables. And as I've always said, you can tell the looseness of a casino's reeled slot machines by how they set their video poker and video Keno. So I would have absolutely nothing to do with the slots on a cruise ship. And yes, I know that sometimes it gets boring on a cruise ship, but just bring books and watch shows, and there really are things to do on a cruise ship. So don't feel obligated to play in the casino if they have stingy machines, or play something else. And by the way, always look for those fun books. Every cruise I've been on had a pretty generous fun book that was worth, I don't know, $20 to $40. So yeah, definitely play those. And other than that, yeah, that's all I have to say. But congratulations on those cruises and have a good time. By the way, I have won 4 or 5 cruises in Vegas and gone on 0 of them. That's because there were blackout dates, and basically you could only go when the kids were in school, and somebody had to watch the kids, so had to say no.
Would you go on a cruise, or have you
Oh
gone on
yeah,
a cruise
I've
before?
been on cruises that I've paid for. I've been on Alaska cruises twice and the Mexican Riviera. Is the Mexican Riviera is what they call the west side of Mexico, right? Anyway, the west coast of Mexico once.
I do not know. No clue.
Okay. Anyway,
So,
okay.
shall we check out the trivia answer?
Yeah.
Is your favorite time of the year springtime?
Yeah, if you forced me to an answer, I probably would go with springtime because the weather is nice and not too hot, not too cold. And but I like every time of year. I'm not real big on making lists of my favorite things. So that's about as far as I can take that one.
Okay.
There's good and bad in every season.
So our next trivia question is, if you guys know this, put it in the chat. What is the highest level of education that Shackleford has? So if you guys know, put it in the chat.
By the way, you can just call me Mike if you want.
Yay! Awesome. I was so worried I was like making you mad because I was calling you Mike all the time.
No, I prefer that. I think calling me by my last name is kind of a little bit, how shall I put it, kind of too formal and cold.
Oh, I was thinking it was more like high school because with like the football team, they always call each other by the last names.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, I won't get into that, but I think that there are first names for a reason to show, to indicate friendship. So when people, there's the expression on a first name basis, meaning that you're friends.
Okay,
We
sounds
are,
good.
of course, friends, therefore, please use my first name.
Okay, sounds good. So our next question comes from TK, and TK says, my local casino has a blackjack rule. Receiving a blackjack after splitting counts as a 21. How does this change the odds? I couldn't find it as an option in your odds calculator.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm pretty sure I addressed that in my list of rule variations. So you go to my page, you click on Blackjack, then you click on, where exactly is it? I'm going to click on Advanced Blackjack, View More, and rule effects of, then I click under Blackjack Tools. It says Effect of Rule Variations. And I know that this is an obscure rule. So you see a link to a page that says, I also have a longer list of rule variations. And I'm just going to have to search for, okay, so here we go. An ace and a 10 after splitting aces counts as a blackjack and pays 3-2. And that is worth 0.21% in the player's favor. So there you go.
Very, very cool.
That is a nice, and yeah, that's a nice rule. And in the early days of internet casinos, a lot of casinos did this, not even knowing that normally getting an ace and a 10 after splitting was just 21 points. So that was great. To this day, a lot of internet casinos don't understand the proper rules of games. In fact, just recently, I exposed the casino for putting the discards back in the deck in video poker. And they said that was the European way of playing video poker, which is completely nonsense. I'm quite sure that they just didn't know the rules of video poker and were just, coded it wrong.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and yeah, okay, that's all I have to say on that. So,
Okay.
All right, what do people say about my highest level of education?
We have a couple people saying you got a PhD.
Nope.
No PhD. Another couple of people saying, I am sure that you are at least a high school graduate.
True.
I am also a high school graduate. And that is pretty much the sum of the answers.
No, my highest completed level of education is a bachelor's degree. I have a bachelor's degree in math and economics from UC Santa Barbara in California. And I also started a teaching credential in California to be a high school math teacher, but I never did my student teaching. So, yep, that is about all I have to say about my education.
Okay. So what would be a good next trivia question to ask people?
Well, well, do we have any gambling questions?
We do. We have a lot.
Yeah, let's go back to the gambling questions.
Okay, sounds good. So no more trivia. I really enjoy your videos showing innovative online games such as Crazy Time and more recently Slinko and Deal or No Deal. Why aren't these innovations in real casinos?
Okay. Yeah, so lately I've been going through a lot of the games in the DraftKings casino, and they have a lot of interesting games like Slingo with a G, Deal or No Deal, which I just made a video and a page about. And why can't you see these games in the casinos? I'm sure that Slingo would like to have that game in real casinos, but it's pretty easy to just put up anything in an internet casino, but it's difficult to get a game approved and actually put on the floor of a casino. There's a lot more hoops to jump through. Casino square footage is expensive. Like the casinos expect every single square foot on the casino to make a certain amount of money according to where that square foot is. So it's asking a lot for a casino to give them a game and say, put this on your casino floor, not just in terms of the gamble that the casino is taking, moving out a money making game for this unknown game, but it also has to be programmed into an actual physical machine, which is there's a lot more to it than putting up a game on an internet casino. And not only that, here in Nevada, any game needs to be approved by the Gaming Control Board, and there's a whole list of hoops that must be jumped through to get that permission. So that is my answer to that one.
Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Tone. What are 3 good tips for a new craps player?
Okay, 3 good tips. Tip number 1 is to stick to only the line bets and the odds, meaning pass, don't pass, come and don't come, and to back them up with the odds. Tip number 2 is kind of the same thing, but it's stay away from every bet in the middle of the table. That includes the hardways and the yo and the any 7 and anything that you see in the middle of the table where the dealer makes the bet for you. And what should be tip number 3? Tip number 3 is don't put a glass on the top of the table. There is a little shelf underneath where you're supposed to put your beverages.
I like that last tip. That's a good tip.
Thanks. Yeah,
You're
I've been
welcome.
scolded for that quite a few times.
Our next question comes from Paul Andrews. Regarding U.S. online casinos such as DraftKings, are demo versions of their games required to use the same code, i.e. chance of winning, as their real counterparts?
I don't think there's any requirement for that. I definitely think that they should use the same game. I put one casino on my blacklist because the games in free mode were cheating in the player's favor, letting them win. And that I thought was extremely deceptive, and they remain on my blacklist to this day because of that. Now, some games might have a different version in demo mode, but the fundamental rules and the math of the game are the same. It just might play a little bit differently in demo mode. It might be a little bit more buggy. Like I've encountered bugs in casino games in demo mode, and when I take that to the software company, they say, "Yeah, we know about that, but this bug doesn't exist in the real money mode, and we just haven't gotten around to fixing it in demo mode yet." So casinos obviously care a lot more about their games if they're for real money.
Okay. So
Okay.
our next question comes from TK. Ever thought about converting the online practice games on your website to an app Too many mobile apps are pay or limited time, and I only just want to play to learn instead of win.
Well, I did that with video poker. Is I had the video poker wizard out there, which was much loved by many people. However, it was extremely frustrating for me. Um, Jumping through all of Apple's hoops was an enormous nightmare, and it's one reason why I don't like Apple to this day. Um, and the and they of course took a big cut out of all the sales, and it's not that I did badly on that app, but was it worth all the trouble? Probably not. I think I only made maybe, I don't know, maybe in total about ten to $20,000 from it, and it was not worth what I had to pay to develop the app and all of the fuss of getting Apple to approve it. So it's not something that I'm going to do again. If anybody out there is interested in taking my games, taking the code and making an app out of them, I technically don't own the games anymore, but that's something we could talk about, selling the code. But yeah, I'm frankly just afraid. I think the Video Poker Wizard, it got redone, and it's possible you can still buy it, but I don't own it anymore. I don't hear people mention it very often. So Video Poker is going to be the only one that maybe you can play that is kind of based on my games, but a developer did that I didn't really know very well. So it wasn't coded by the same guy, JB, who made my game. So it doesn't have the same kind of feel to it. So that is about as far as I can take that one.
Okay. So our next question comes from Hawaii Craps Shooters. In craps, what are the percentages on a shooter making their point, more specifically for the 4 and 10?
Well, once the probability of establishing a point of a 4 is 3 in 36, which reduces to 1 in 12. And then once that has been established, the probability of making that point of a 4 is 1 in 3. So let's divide that by 3. So the probability that the outcome of a pass line bet will be making and winning on the 4 is 2.78%.
Let's get that one more time.
And by the way, I had a Ask the Wizard question about this recently. So if you want to see how I work that out, look at the last Ask the Wizard column.
Okay. Very cool. Okay, so this next question is a 3-parter, so it's a little bit long.
Mm-hmm.
Mystic Child asks, at all of the casinos I've gone to, they deal Ultimate Hold'em with dealing the board 5 cards, and then the house gets the first 2, and then each player gets 2 at a time. A new local casino is dealing Ultimate Hold'em, and when they're dealing the board, they deal each player 1 card at a time, with the house getting the last card at each round. So because of that, do the odds of the game change because the house isn't necessarily getting the first 7 cards? Thank you.
The answer is no. It does not change the odds who gets which card. The order that they're dealt does not matter at all.
Okay.
So nice simple answer to that one.
Nice and easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our next question comes from the Robertino. On a $25 table or a 25-pound table on craps, can you bet smaller amounts for the dealer? For don't pass, where do you place it? Thank you.
I'm sure you can, but Heather, you're the dealer. I'll let you answer that one.
Yes, you could bet smaller amounts for the dealer. It doesn't have to be the minimum amount. For example, if you're on Blackjack and it's a $5 minimum, you could still bet $1 for the dealer. Dealers will be happy to take your money, and casinos don't necessarily want it to be the minimum amount, because then that's more money going to the dealers instead of going to their bankroll.
Yep, so that's my understanding too.
Cool. Okay, so our next question Does a Rubik's Cube count as a handheld device?
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, let's see. What is the next one? Let me find the next question real quick. Okay, so Gillamy says, what is your reasoning behind saying that underdogs, and specifically home underdogs, are generally the better bets in sports gambling?
It's just history. I have databases that go back years in different sports, and I've looked at historically if I had always bet every underdog and every favorite, which way would I have made out better? And in every sport, you make out better betting the underdogs, and usually you make out better betting the under against the total than the over. And I don't think that there's a strong correlation with whether it's a home underdog or an away underdog. I believe that I used to say home underdogs were better than away underdogs, and I know Stanford Wong says that in his book. But then when I had more data, it looked about even between home underdogs and away underdogs. And then it actually swung the other way where away underdogs look better than home underdogs, but it wasn't very statistically significant given my sample size. So my general advice in any sport is just underdogs and unders. And whether it's home or away doesn't make much of a difference.
Okay, sounds good.
In fact, yeah. In fact, if you put a gun to my head and said always bet home teams or away teams, I would take the away teams.
Oh, wow.
It's just, I believe, just it's just slightly better, and it's not necessarily statistically significant.
Okay. So our next question comes from Yes Notes. Michael, have you done any slot vulturing lately?
Nope, I've never done any ever. I just don't consider it a good use of my time. Um, so, but I'm thinking about doing another analysis of a vulturable slot machine. And I know that a lot of people say, Wiz, please don't. But I'm in my mind anyway. I'm looking at a game called uh, a bingo based slot machine, but I haven't made a decision if I'm going to go forward with that project or not.
Okay, sounds cool. So our next question comes from Mystic Child. Can someone be a long-term winner at Blackjack, assuming the house edge is 0.5% without counting?
Well, there are other advantage plays. For example, if the dealer isn't shuffling well, then you might notice like a clump of cards stays together, and you might know with a reasonable degree of confidence that the next card is an ace, given that the previous, say, 5 cards were the sequence that you recall from the last shoe. And that would be the good time to throw out a big bet if you're going to get that next card. So that's called shuffle tracking. And there are other advantage plays, but there's no way you can beat that 0.5% with just basic strategy or a betting system. You absolutely need some kind of advantage play where you know something about about the probabilities of the cards that have yet to be dealt.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also too, you have to know like what tables to sit on because, depending on the table, depending on the rules, that could get it lower than 0.5%.
Okay, I have a trivia question for you guys. You see
Ooh.
this symbol on my shirt, and I'll show you the backside as well.
Wait. Let me get a big image on the screen. Okay.
See my back?
Let's see the back.
Okay. What is that a symbol of?
Okay. So if you guys know, put it in the chat. Yay. I love the random trivia questions. And our next gambling question for you while we're waiting for people to answer that is, do you still look for advantage machines?
No, like I just said, I'm not a slot vulture. I don't play much video poker anymore, in part because of the change in the tax laws, which for me makes any jackpot taxable. And when you assume that I'm going to have to pay say 25% of that jackpot to the government, it no longer makes it a good play because the advantage in video poker is so thin to begin with. So, yeah, I hardly practice advantage play anymore, to be honest with you.
Okay. Next question comes from God's Chillin'. Do you ever hurry away from a talking roulette machine because you don't want to hear it say the number you were about to bet, but decided to stop playing?
Nope. I haven't played a roulette machine in a long time. The only time I did play one was I had some evidence that a particular machine was cheating, and I played it, and I gathered quite a bit of data, and I determined that my play seemed very statistically fair. And you can read about this on Wizard of Odds under the title something like Interblock Roulette Experiment. Um, but but if I did play, I don't think that the talking part of it, whatever they say, would bother me.
Okay. And then our next question comes from Kendrick. My state doesn't have sports or internet gambling. Do you have any suggested offshore internet gambling websites or apps that you can suggest?
Well, I mean, as you guys know, I sold my website in 2014, and I worked for the person who bought it, and they handle the advertising. And it's our goal to only advertise reputable casinos. There are quite a few that we support. So I don't want to personally mention any names, but I will say that any advertiser on Wizard of Odds is somebody who we endorse, and that we feel that will pay you if you win.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, here's another trivia question for you guys. Which are the only 2 states that have absolutely no form of legalized gambling?
So if you guys know, put those answers in the chat. And while we are waiting for people to answer, someone asked, or someone said, is it ICP or Insane Clown Posse on your shirt? Is that what that is?
No, but I like that answer. I like them.
You do? What
yeah.
album do you listen to?
I don't like them to the degree that I can name their albums, but I just like their whole act. That I like their videos, and I like that they're trying something different, and I like their name, and but I cannot name like a single member of the band. I'm not.
I've never seen any music videos from them. I've never really listened to much of their music, but I do like one album called The Great Malenko, which I think was their 4th album. And there's like probably 4, maybe 5 songs on the album that I like, that I listen to.
I like the song. They do a cover of Let's Go All the Way.
Uh-huh.
I love the video for that.
Okay.
But Heather, I thought you had a fear of clowns.
I am not sleeping in that freaking clown motel. I don't care what you say. I am not sleeping in that clown motel. I'm glad you slept in the clown motel, but I'm not sleeping in that clown motel.
I'll pay for the room and $500 above it if you stay there.
I still don't want to sleep in that room. That's just creepy.
I would be happy to stay there.
And you have stayed there.
I have not. I've been there, but I haven't stayed overnight.
Oh, okay. I thought you stayed overnight.
To be honest, the only time I go through Tonopah, where the Clown Motel is I'm traveling between Vegas and Reno, and I try to make that drive in one day. But
okay.
But I've stopped and I've chatted with the people in the front office, and they have an enormous collection of clowns in there, and they will talk to you all day long. Yeah. In fact, the Clown Motel was for sale, but Mrs. Wizard wouldn't let me buy it.
I don't blame her. That's just a creepy place. Okay, so next question is from Poker Joker. In video poker, do the cards move at a lightning speed if not held?
Okay. What I think, well, let me just say this is a question that I often get asked is in video poker, after you get the deal, are the cards on the draw predestined? And the answer is no, that that the remaining 47 cards are being shuffled at lightning speed, as you put it. And the moment that you press draw, the next cards in the deck are going to be the cards that you get. So I hope that answers your question.
Very, very cool.
And about the 2 states with no legalized gambling, I see Bruce Lee got it right, Utah and Hawaii.
Oh, right on. Here we go, Bruce Lee.
And I see somebody mentioned Alabama, but I think they have a lottery there.
Oh, okay.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, let me look it up.
Now it's 4:00. Do we have time for any more questions, or do you want to wrap it up? We have about 3, 4, maybe 5 more questions.
Well, I actually see on Google that there's an article titled, "Will 2022 be the year Alabama allows a lottery?"
Oh,
But let me see what they do have in Alabama then. They have, it looks like they have racetracks there, and the racetracks have gaming machines. They might be pull tab games, but racetrack betting is a form of gambling. Are there any, let me see, let's not ask any new questions, but are there any old questions where an answer is still being discussed? Like, what was the question about the insane clown posse? What was that in response to?
what the answer? What was the trivia answer for your shirt?
Oh, yeah. I don't see anybody got that. I wasn't expecting anyone to. Okay, but in former East Germany, they, on all the traffic lights, which the word for traffic light in German is Ampel. You know how in the U.S. that if it doesn't say don't walk, it just has a hand like saying don't walk. And if you are allowed to walk, it either just says walk or you can see a picture of somebody walking. But in East Germany, they had this image if you were allowed to walk, and the image on my back if you were not supposed to walk, that it would be against the flow of traffic. And this was called the Ample Man. But then when Germany got reunified, suddenly all this East German culture was quickly going away of the dodo bird. But some people actually liked the Ample Man, that they thought he was cute and kind of a symbol of East Germany. So in parts of Berlin, especially the old eastern side, you still see the Ample Man on their traffic lights. So it's called the Ample Man.
Very interesting.
Yep. Okay. Well, that does it for this show. Sorry if we didn't get to your question, Heather. Thank you very much for producing the show. Thank you, audience, for coming and participating. And
when is the next time we're going to see everyone?
Let's see. How about February 3rd, the day after Groundhog Day?
Perfect. Sounds good. So join us February 3rd, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our next AMA. If you guys can, get here early, ask your questions early to be sure that they are answered. The questions that are asked a little later, unfortunately, we can't get to it. Thank you guys so much. It was good seeing everyone. Good to see you, Mike.
And let me also add that there is a thread titled Wizard on Live Stream at Wizard of Vegas, and you can post questions there. And I always look at those.
Fantastic. Awesome.
So that is a good way to get your question into the show.
I like that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks again, everyone. Bye.
Bye. See ya.